CEO and founder of 3 multi-million-dollar companies, 3-time best-selling author, revolutionary conscious creation expert, Christopher Duncan.
Chris Duncan, life coach, thank you very much for joining.
In this industry, I've seen so many self-help books come and go, so many courses on how to be rich, successful, healthy, happy, you name it, it's there. And who wouldn't want all that in their life? However, there's one big problem. And that one big problem is every single one of the courses that are out there have missed one thing. And that one thing is they've missed structure. When you learn how to structure your life, you learn how to create with ease. If you're in the wrong structure, you simply build an identity that goes against what it is you're trying to create. See, if you walk in to try to heal, improve, or fix yourself, there is a silent instruction given to your identity that says in order to achieve, you must fix, heal, improve yourself. And that is the number one problem. I'm going to show you how to connect to your superconscious that allows you to let go of your limiting self-conscious identity and create. Instead of problem solving, we create. You see, for most people, trying to trick themselves by using incantations or silly meditations that they are something other than what they are does not work. It cannot work because it creates two separate identities. There's the identity that knows you're not it, then there's the identity trying to trick or lie to yourself that you're something else. Once you learn to let this go, connect to your superconscious, change is marvelous. For me, I built a $20 million company within 3 years after learning this. I've helped people regain their eyesight who have been legally blind. Tumors have disappeared from people's bodies. Diabetes have gone. I've got email proof of people making more money than you could imagine and healing relationships, all by realizing they're not broken. They don't need to fix themselves. They just need to learn how to connect to their superconscious.
A program that has changed lives. Unlock your intuition. Discover your manifestation powers. Unleash your natural gifts. Get ready to transform your life. Welcome to to the 5-day superconscious transformation.
Hello, everybody. It's very exciting to be here with you all. I think it's about time that we kick off this 5-day challenge. Anyone else think that might be a good idea? I'm so thrilled and grateful to be here, to be sharing this with everyone, this amazing work. And we're going to have a really special week. Let's take a moment to kind of acknowledge that, just how special this week's going to be, and what it is we're going to cover. We're really going to dive deep. So I want to ask, who's up for an amazing transformative 5 days? Give me a yes in the chat box if you are. Who's seen maybe a video of mine on YouTube, or maybe you've done a recode and you really just want to dive headfirst into this and create a life you love? Because if that's you, you're definitely in the right place. So I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here. So many amazing people, so many amazing friends, and it's just exciting. It's so exciting to be sharing this work with you. You know, if you had told me a few years ago that I'd be leading a movement of millions of people to connect to their superconscious, if you had told me that this work was responsible for multiple people who were legally blind to be able to see again, if you had told me that someone would email me in and say that they had a tumor that with x-ray proof that it disappeared and they think it's because of this work, you know, you told me people were walking again, reconnecting their families, making a huge more money. If you'd shared this with me, I probably would have said, yeah, that would be a dream come true. And so it really is, you know. It's just absolutely exciting to be able to see the truth, and people receiving their truth, that they're powerful. And so I want to start off today and the whole 5 days, and I want to let you know, you are not broken. You're not broken. You do not need to heal. You do not need to fix. You do not need to improve. You do not need any of that. You are not broken. No matter what anyone has ever tried to tell you, that you can't have what it is that you want to have in life the way that you are. You just need to learn how to connect to the truth of you. You're powerful, and don't you ever let anyone take that power from you. No pharmaceuticals, no doctors, no theories, no healers, no gurus. No one, nothing is more powerful than your creative source and your creative spirit. And this week, we're going to show you how to connect to that power, because you're not broken at all. You don't need fixing. There's no mistake. You can have everything that you want in life just the way you are. Just the way you are. In fact, it's more about dropping layers and connecting to your truth than it is about fixing or adding anything. It's about allowing yourself to live from a different place, a place that you live sometimes, a place that you lived in childhood, a place that is present, a place that is source, and allowing you to live from that more than living from your self-conscious, egoic, polarity-based, limited worldview that believes in life and death and black and white and hot and cold and rich and poor, that believes in all of that, and learning to come up to the infinite where everything is already created, and for you to connect to that, choose it, and bring it down to the physical form. It's for you to actually live your fullest expression, to live your fullest expression as the energetic source code that you are. That's what this week's about. That's what this week's about. And so don't you ever let anyone tell you again that you need to go to this thing or heal this, or you don't need to fix anything. You must just learn to reorientate to a new structure. Who's excited about that? Who's excited about that, by the way? Let me know in the chat box if you are. Now, I'm thrilled for this week. I'm thrilled for this week. I'm thrilled for this work, and I'm thrilled to share it with all of you, because it's time for the new way. You know, over the past, there's been many teachers that's tried to teach us the truth about us, about what we really are, to know ourselves as a source code, to know ourselves as superconscious, to say, you know, you have this in you. Yet, if we look at the past, 30 or 40 or 50 years of the self-help or personal development world, they did the opposite. They said, no, you're not powerful. You got to have these beliefs. In fact, if you don't think this way, you won't be successful. If you don't get rid of that, if you don't work on that, you can't be successful. And it bred a worldview that if I don't look a certain way, I'm not going to have a great marriage. If I don't think a certain way, then I'm not going to be successful. If I don't have the right house or the right car or if I don't have that, then I'm not able to have it. And it took our power. Who agrees with this? We let our power be taken, and the power was put outside of us. And I did it, and it's very likely that you did it, and it's time for us to change. And so that's what we're here to do. It's time for us to make that shift, to live from the superconscious awareness, to take your power back, and to truly turn your thoughts into things. I'm going to take you on a journey this week. I'm going to take you on a journey to superconscious living, to superconscious awareness, and it's going to be something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. This week's going to be powerful. Who's up for it, by the way? This week is going to be powerful. In fact, let's go over it. Today, we're going to go over some of the basics, the foundations, the fundamentals. We're going to put some of the building blocks in place for your new way of thinking, to understand the superconscious journey, to know about the shift, the transformation, how to orient yourself to a new way of being. That's what we're going to do today. Tomorrow, we will go through your choices, how to actually understand what a true choice is. And tomorrow, we're going to do the recode process. Who's done a recode before? Let me know. Who's done a recode before? We're going to do a recode process live tomorrow. We're going to do that. And that is wild, absolutely wild. We'll do that tomorrow. The next day, we're going to do a different aspect of the superconscious. We're going to tune in and use intuition. We're going to use intuition to find your heart, to find your truth, what you really want. Too long have we been told that we want to have, a piece of plastic this, or a bunch of followers that, or just all these things. We're going to help you tune into what it is that you really love, what you really love. The next day, we're going to remove the biggest resistance in your life, the fear of failure, the fear of going broke, the fear of sickness. The biggest resistance you have in your life, we will do the double bubble exercise on. Has anyone here done the double bubble before? Day 4, if you can make any of the days live, day 4 and 5 are going to be the ones you need to be on. Day 4 is going to be incredible. And day 5, we're going to bring it all together and give you a year plan on exactly what it is you need to do. Now, also on day 5, I'll give you an opportunity to expand into this work even more, because I think all of us understand that, 5 days is going to be great, but you need a tribe, you need a group, and you need to constantly be moving into a new creation, a new orientation. So I will talk about that on day 5 as well. And I'll make sure that we have an amazing 5 days full of huge transformation. And then there'll be some of you that go, I don't want this to stop. This is the work I want to master. So I'll share that as well. So who's in for all 5 days, by the way? Type in a number 5 if you are. If you're like, I'm going to spend 5 days doing this. Now, we're going to go for about 2 hours a day. I'm going to try my best to stick to under 2 hours. Those of you who know me, if I catch a certain topic that needs to be shared with the group, I won't stop. But we're going to try for 2 hours. It'll be at the same time every day live. So if you choose to be on live, that's great. What we've found, however, is that the replays are more powerful than the live sessions. And that is because the field structure, which you'll learn about, has already been created. So when someone watches a replay, they're tapping into a pre-programmed session. And so those of us who are here live, we're going to be, creating the field. We're going to be going through the work, going through the process. And then those of you who watch the replay, you kind of just get to enter the slipstream of what's already there. And some of the biggest transformations that I've seen are people that never were able to get on live. They lived on the other side of the world. And so we believe that a morphogenic field is created in the sessions, which if you want to know more about, check out Sheldrake's work, Rupert Sheldrake, and understand morphogenic fields and resonance and harmonics, because we really do feel, well, we just see the results, eh? And so we try our best to theorize why. But replays work incredibly well. So look, if you can be on live, that's going to be fantastic, and you get to have some energy. You get to be with a bunch of other people. And unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to be able to monitor the chat box. So I've got some team members on here. So where's my team? Can I have some of the team just let themselves know? And you might see them as CEC team or team or whatever. We've got a few team members on here. So let's where's some team members? There you go. So there are some people there available to help you out. I've got multiple streams going right now, and so I want to make sure that we're here, where I'm able to be with you, and I've got others here to help you. Does that make sense? So got others. By the way, if you're here, you've pretty much done what you need to do. So obviously, you found your email, you found your way to this session. So that all feels all good, and we're ready to go. So I'm excited that you're here. So we're going to go for 5 days, and I'm going to give you my best. And I just want to ask for you to give me your best back. Let's have a great 5 days. Let's really make this to be one of those big movements in your life, and we will make sure that you have an amazing time. So with all that being said, I think we should get started and get into this. Don't you guys think it's about time that we start? I hope that you got some of the bonuses and the bonus material. There's a lot of information on my YouTube channel, and then also I put some bonuses that are normally paid just for you guys. So I hope that you did get to those. But let's get into today, and let's talk about everything that we're doing here, because it really is a big deal. So first off, let me just give you a little bit of introduction to myself, and how this is all come about. I think it's an important place to start. So this week we're really talking to you how to manifest what it is that you desire and manifest your dreams. So can you guys see my slides? Can someone let me know if you can see my slides? I think so. I think you can. I've got some slides that I just want to go through. Let me just check. Can you see my slides? Yeah, cool. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go through 5 days, 5 big processes, 5 big insights. You'll experience a recode, and you'll get an opportunity to work with us for 12 months. Now, because of the system that I'm going to be sharing with you to connect with your superconscious, the recode, the magnetic mind process, I've been able to do some things that I wasn't able to do before. Our company does over $10 million in revenue, and I'm a first-generation millionaire, first one in my family to cross that line, and then 10x it. A best-selling author of 2 books and spoken live audiences all around the world, and was in a movie with Tony Robbins and the Dalai Lama. Married the love of my life, live a life of freedom, and I've been able to really create something that I think is very purposeful, which is the magnetic mind method. It's impacted millions, creating huge results, and I'm very proud of the creations. But for me, it wasn't always this way. So I think it's important for you guys to understand that it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter where your starting point is. We all have different starting points. It matters where you're going. Now, I grew up in New Zealand. Currently, I live in Australia. I grew up, in middle class, a house full of love, following the rules, went to uni, got a good job. But I was always a bit of a rebel. Is anyone here a bit of a rebel, kind of doesn't see it the way that society sees it? Have I got any other black sheeps of the family here? Yeah, I always saw it different. In fact, even though that's the way that I was orienting to the world, I left high school. I didn't finish high school. It didn't make sense to me to follow a bunch of people that weren't happy in life. You know, it didn't make sense. You know, at that time, I wanted to play professional basketball, and that was all I wanted to do. So it didn't make sense to see these people who seemed to be moaning about their day and telling me to learn these things that had no relevance to what it is they needed. So I ended up leaving school. But in the back of my mind, I was like, well, you know, you got to be this way. You got to get a job. You got to do these things. But I really did rebel. I really did rebel, and anyway, this was me. So that was me. Those are real dreadlocks, eh? That was me. And you know, I was out there. I was building businesses. I went to uni, and I was living life against the system. I was living life against the system, and in 2009, my life changed. So in 2009, my life changed because I snapped my thigh. So I nearly died. I snapped my thigh. This is an x-ray here. I was lying in hospital and I ended up with a pulmonary embolism in my lung, nearly in my heart actually. And it was very painful, very bad. And I couldn't walk for a very long time, learning how to walk. Just so you know, any health professionals out there know, it's quite difficult to break your femur like that, isn't it? Well, I managed to do it, but it was a life-changing moment. And I realized, you know, I wanted something different. I wanted something different. I wanted to create a different life. And so I started down the journey of wanting to change it. So what I realized, and let's just all for a moment acknowledge, how many of you had this realization that if you want to change your life, there's something you need to change about your understanding, your education, your emotions, your habits. Give me a yes or a hand up. Give me a yes if this is true. Is you say, well, I wanted something different, so I got to change something. See, I made that decision as well, and it always felt like I was battling myself. You know, like I was battling the world, but then also battling myself. And so I realized that there was something I needed to change about me. So this became an obsession. I got certified in neuro-linguistic programming twice, once in Australia, once in the United States. Certified hypnotherapist, success strategies, life coaching, Robin seminars, Money and You, Matrix Energetics, map coaching, alchemy for success. I've done all of Dispenza's work, Gregg Braden's work, Bruce Lipton, sat with Lynne Mctaggart. I've read so many books on the subject of success, creation, and manifestation. You name it, I did it. I can sit with you. We can talk about tapping and EFT and everything that you've been a part of. I have as well, and I was able to create results, but it was a war. It was a war, and everywhere I looked, I saw others winning, and it just felt like a war. And I was able to create a bit of success, but it did feel like a war. It felt like I was always fighting something, and I think it's true for most of us. There's one area in life that we're just not able to create in. Let me ask you, type it in the chat box. Which area of life is it for you? Which outcome seems to always slip out of your fingers? Is it money? Is it health? Is it relationship? Is it your spiritual connection? Is it feeling you always feel lost? You're always trying to find your purpose. What is it? You know, for me, I always felt like a victim, like, well, why can't I have this? Why can't I have it? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. You see, I'm doing who's had this? I'm doing everything. I'm doing the meditations. I'm listening to Abraham Hicks. I'm sitting in space doing meditations from Dispenza. I'm reading the books. I'm going to courses. I'm investing myself. I'm taking action. I'm applying myself. Why can't I get there? There must be something wrong with me. Like, why can't I get there? I'm doing the chanting. I'm doing the affirmations. I changed my diet multiple times. I've tried why am I not getting it? Is there anyone else out there that's a maniac on a mission who's frustrated in at least one area of life? Give me a me if that's you. You're like, I just don't know why. I just don't know why. Well, same. I was pissed off. I was broke. I was upset, but failure wasn't an option. I just kept on going. I built a $2 million company, then lost it again. And I literally just couldn't believe this. You know, it felt like I'd been going on this, you know, forward and back pattern. I just never could hold on to the success. And I decided that I was the common denominator. I decided it was me. I decided it was me. Did anyone else make this decision? Well, it must be me. Must be me. There's something that I need to change about me. See, this is the obvious decision that we all make. We all decide, well, it must be me. You see, because we get to a certain point where we go, well, I'm doing everything that these people are saying. So it must be me. Is it true? Did it happen for you? We do, because there's only one logical conclusion. You see all these others doing all these things, and this person tells you this person tells you this, you follow this for a while, and you go, well, I've tried so many people's different plans and paths. Well, it must be me then. I mean, it's the only thing. It's like, well, I'm the only common denominator in all of this. It must be me. And so when I looked, I started to ask, well, why aren't people all successful? You know, why aren't people all successful? I realized that with all the books and all the strategies and all this success, it wasn't just me that wasn't successful, you see. And those of you who are on here live, you'll see in the chat box, everyone saying, well, I must be the common denominator. Well, how is that possible? If there's thousands of people on this session right now, and everyone thinks it's them that's the common denominator, then there must be something else that's common here, hey? I mean, how is it that there are so many smart, successful, amazing people that aren't able to successfully create what it is they want to create? And that's really my definition of success, is there's something I would like to experience or create or have, and I'm able to create that. You see? Why is that? Why is that? And I kept thinking about this, and I stumbled across some brilliant work by Fritz, and this led me to this real conclusion that the common denominator is not actually the person. It's not actually the person. You're not the common denominator in success or failure. It's not you. It's something else. Let me explain. All of us have a current reality. We want this current reality to move to a desired reality. Maybe you want to have more money. Maybe you want to have more health. Maybe a better relationship. Let's just say those are three things that a lot of people on here will want. So you want to move to this current reality. And this seems right, isn't it? And so what you decide is you decide that this desired reality is better. And by deciding that that reality is better, you decide that this reality is worse. Okay, and that's just how it works. You can't decide that something is better if you don't decide that something else is worse. So we say, when I have more money, it'll be better. If I have health, it will be better. If I have a relationship, it will be better. Who agrees with this? This is how we set it up, isn't it? We say, when I have that, it will be better. Now, here's the challenge. By better, what we actually mean is a different feeling. By better, we actually mean a different feeling. So let's take money, for example. If we have more money, we might feel abundance. Or let's take health, okay? It will feel vital. Or relationship, we might feel in love. That's how it's better. That's how it is better. Now, what's interesting is when we think that's better, we think this is worse. So instead of abundance, what we actually have is scarcity. Instead of vitality, we're tired. And instead of love, we feel lonely. Now, this seems right, doesn't it? This seems right. Like this is the way we all get told to set up creation and goals and all these things. Yes, this is how we do it. And this is why success is eluding you, because this feeling actually becomes your identity. This is actually how you are. You've lived for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years in these feelings. And your identity is familiar and used to these feelings. Okay? It's used to it. Your identity does not want to change. It wants to keep everything the same. Why? Because the identity wants to keep you alive. And so it decides that anything that hasn't been experienced is risky compared to things that have been experienced. Your identity says, if I haven't experienced it, or my family hasn't experienced it, then it's not been tested or proven. Therefore, it's risky, so I'm not going to do it. Does that make sense? So what happens? This here is a different identity. And these two identities do not equal. Make sense? So here's what happens. As you move from your current reality to your desired reality, as you move, the identity on some level gets scared that you're about to change everything. So what it does is it's going to throw you off track by pushing up unhappy thoughts and feelings. Who's experienced this? Feelings of overwhelm, feelings of doubt, feelings of I'm not good enough to do that, feelings of guilt, feelings of I don't know what to do, I don't know how, I don't know. Who's felt this? What about fear? Fear of rejection, fear of going broke, fear of abandonment. So it pushes up these feelings. So what do? We see these feelings here and we decide we must fix them. We decide we must fix them. So we're going there and we decide, oh, I need to fix or resolve how I'm feeling uncertain about this. All this fear that's here, all this anger, that I need to sort that out. Oh, I need to go get another, we need to sort that out. Just give me some feedback. Does this make sense? We go, I need to sort this out. So instead of going for what we want, we move in a different direction to resolve our thoughts and feelings. And here's what happens. We have a current reality. We move towards a desired reality. Up pops some negative thoughts or feelings. So we come down here to resolve them. Resolve the feeling. I'll just write resolve the negative. So we go from unhappy and we go to happy. Now this might look like changing relationship, procrastination, going to a course, doing some inner work, taking a holiday, whatever it is, we allow it, we go and we try to feel better. And then what happens is we suddenly realize that we feel good, but we still are broke, or we're still not in a relationship, or we're still unhealthy, and we realize that we just felt a bit better for a weekend and got nowhere. Is it true? We just realized, oh, I just read a book and it felt good to read the book, or I just changed businesses, but I'm still broke, or I just got a new relationship, but it's still not the one I want, or I'm getting a different diet. I've got a different diet. Oh, a different diet makes me feel better, but I'm still not there. Is it true? Who's experienced this? And you go on this pattern where you move forward a little bit and then you go, but here's what happens is as you go on this loop, whatever you do to resolve the negative, now your identity gets wrapped up in all of this. And the identity says, I can't have what I desire the way I am. This becomes the identity. I can't have what I desire the way I am. And it becomes a lifelong search to become different to finally have what you want. What if I told you that all of the successful creators who create magic, amazing families, or amazing music like Lady Gaga or Michael Jackson, Kurt Cobain, if you think about amazing leaders like Lincoln or JFK, if you think of people who have created successful outcomes like Mandela or Gandhi, J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, if you think about these amazing creators, you know, Steve Jobs. Okay, if you think about them, it's not because they fixed themselves or became different that they were able to create that successful outcome. Is it? It's not because of that. It's because of something different. Successful creators, when you read their biographies, went for what they want as they were, instead of trying to fix, improve, and making it personal. They did something different. They orientated to what they wanted from a different place and stopped buying in to the idea that they're broken. Does this make sense? They went to a different place. All failure and all success, write this down. In all failure and in all success, structure is the common denominator. Structure, not the person. How the person is structured. It's not talent. It's not hard work. It's not any of the things that we've been told. In fact, you can find successful people that work hard, that are lazy, that are talented, that are talentless, that are male, that are female, that are black, that are white, that are Asian, that are every different gender, every different type of sexual orientation. There's no right way. However, in the last 50, 60 years, this obsession about needing to become perfect, become a certain way in order to be successful has taken hold of our subconscious and our unified unconscious field. Who agrees with this? The structure is the key. Structure is the key. When you orient and structure to what you really are, you will see that you can easily create what it is that you want. Easily create what you want. It's not innate ability. It's not talent. You can find many talentless or low talent people in the music industry that are far more successful than those who have talent that are down on the corner playing amazing music, but then there's a talented person with all the fans. You can see actors that are not even that good at acting that are far more successful than other actors. It's not talent. It's not hard work. It's something else. It's how they oriented or structured to their outcomes. Success is a completion of an end result that you decided to create. See, there's many people that work less than you that make more money than you. There's many people who are not as positive as you that have more money. There's a different way. There's a different way. And that way is orientating yourself in your true power. And that's what this week is about. getting you in the right structure so that it can actually move towards what you want. The structure you must be in is that your current reality is here, your desired reality is here. Instead of your identity being caught up in this current reality, your identity has risen up where it is able to understand that it is everything. Write this down. I must be it to see it. The it you must be is the source field, the consciousness that already has everything already created. See, when you rise up to here, you can go down into this desired reality, this random reality, this random reality. It doesn't matter because your identity is not caught up in your limitation. The reason why this structure never resolved itself is because of us buying in to the current reality worse, and then this is how we're living. You must learn to open the magnetic moment. You'll learn this week. Connect to your truth that you have it all now. Once you realize that the now is better than any future you could ever have, that you can access everything you desire now. When you unlock the wizard's gate, step forward into the magnetic moment, and then choose what it is that you want, you can create anything and everything that you desire. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I want you to think of something right now that you do not want to happen. I want you to think about something that you resist, something you don't want. I want you to think about something that you don't want. Okay. Now, we have 3 different levels of consciousness. The bottom level is self-conscious. Can you guys type this in? Self-conscious. Others might call this ego, but we call it self-conscious. The consciousness of that I'm an individual, that I'm a self. Self-conscious. The self-conscious lives in polarity. It is limited. It lives in black and white, or in this instance, green and white. Okay. The self-conscious believes in life only because it believes in death. The self-conscious only believes in rich because it believes in poor. Okay. The self-conscious believes in hot because there's cold. Okay, so the self-conscious is when you believe there's something you want and don't want. The self-conscious believes bad and then this is good. Okay, so the self-conscious aspect of you is the aspect of you from back here that is believing bad, that this is bad, and that this is good. Okay, so this is how and why most people do not create a life they want. Now, the self-conscious, it's like it lives in a pendulum swing. And the pendulum swings from good to bad. And when you're in the self-conscious, it always seems to go back and forward and back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. Who's experienced this? I really want to have that. I want to have that. And does it always feel like it pushes back? I want to have this, but it comes back. I want this, but it comes back. See, the self-conscious believes in polarity, in limitation, and I need to have this. It believes in this. Okay? It believes in this. And because it believes in this, and by the way, this is how the world is oriented. Okay? Think about if you have an ice cube, it always wants to come back to melted and be warm. But if you have hot soup, it wants to get cold. You want to have rich, it's different. It wants to go back to poor. You see? So what happens if you try to create and live out of your self-conscious aspect, you will find yourself always fighting the swing. So you must learn to raise up. Now we call the next level unconscious, but you can call it subconscious if you want. I call it unconscious because that's how my teachers taught me. The unconscious, and you can see here, seeks balance. It's where your feelings are. It just wants to stay the same. It seeks balance. And this balance point is whatever unconscious balance point you have. So you'll notice that your unconscious balance point has been set for you, whether that's health or whether that's money. It always feels that if you go past this balance point, that the pendulum wants to swing back to it. With the amount of love you're allowed to experience in life, the amount of fame you're allowed to have, it always wants to come back to this balance point, doesn't it? And that balance point is in your unconscious. Okay, so you have an unconscious. So this is the part of you that wants to stay alive, that wants survival, that doesn't want change. Okay, and so a lot of work tries to work in the unconscious. But imagine trying to work with an aspect of your consciousness that doesn't desire change. Imagine doing that. That's quite a hard aspect to work with. But what we work with is we work with the next level up, which is your superconscious. Your superconscious is infinite information. See, the superconscious is your aspect of source. The superconscious is like the drop in the ocean of all source. Does that make sense? It's the drop in the ocean of all source. So what happens is you have a perspective in the superconscious that when you connect to, you can change the instructions, which brings the balance point down, which is the fulcrum of how you create your life. You can simply move and change your superconscious perspective from there. Does this make sense? You are not the source. You are one perspective of the source code. Does that make sense? The superconscious aspect in you, your higher self, your divinity, it's one aspect of a collaborative, unified field that we all live in. When you go and connect to that part of you, you can shift and change and recode instructions and bring it back down to your unconscious so you can live a different experience. How's that? How are we going today, by the way, guys? How's that? So what I realized is the reason why people are not able to create what they want is they're down here in the wrong structure, orienting to the world down here. This is good and this is bad. Instead of realizing there's no such thing as good or bad when you're everything. You see? When you're orienting down here, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, oh, I'm so... when you rise up and you become the higher perspective, you don't mind whether you're broke or rich or famous or judged. You don't mind about any of that because you realize you're all of it and none of it matters. When you rise up, you simply go, okay, so I'm up here. What instructions do I need to bring down so I can have a different experience? Does that make sense? When you connect there, then everything can change. Everything can change. So let's talk about the journey that we're about to go through. We're going to go on a journey to superconscious living. Who's excited about that? So here is the journey. Here is the journey. We all start out as a pure creative spirit. A pure creative spirit. We then become an individual with a limited perspective. Okay? We start out as a pure creative spirit, and then we become an individual with a limited perspective. Now, over 100 years ago, a scientist named Thomas Young did the double slit experiment. Who has never heard of the double slit experiment? Double slit experiment. It's a groundbreaking experiment. What he did is he shot light at the width of a single photon. So a photon gun shot light out of a gun. What he had was a piece of card with 2 slits on it. And then what he had was photogenic paper. So as he shot the light at the slits, and then it came out the other side, what was observed was 2 lines on the photo paper like that. Pretty obvious, hey? He's shooting light. It's kind of like if you held a torch, if you close one slit, it's going to make light there. Close the other, it's going to make light there. That makes sense, hey? That makes sense. Like there's nothing wild about that. What was interesting is when he was not observing it, the way that the light photons behaved changed. So same gun, same setup, however, now there were 2 dark lines and then many other bands of light like this. That's interesting, isn't it? So it changed. And what became obvious was that it was behaving like a wave. So if you got a hose, a fireman's hose, and you waved it at a fence, as it went through the slits, it would wave through it, and instead of just creating one line, it would create multiple black and white lines. Does this make sense? So it was like a wave. Now, what's interesting about this is he realized that the photons were observer dependent. See, when he had the photogenic paper up there and he was watching it, when he was watching it and measuring it, it behaved like a particle. When he was not watching it, it behaved like a wave. Now in 1927, they replicated this with photons and electrons. and the same thing happened. And what's been determined is that photons or light are observer dependent. The act of observation from consciousness turned it from a wave to a particle. The act of observation turned it from a wave to a particle. Now, what the heck does this have to do with you? Well, at the base of you, you know that you're made up of atoms. And we've all seen that picture of atoms, you know, and it looks like a solar system type thing with things orbiting the nucleus. Everyone saw that in science class, yeah? Well, see, here's the actual truth of it. It actually looks like a probability cloud of all information, and until we observe it, it turns into this. So what I'm trying to tell you is that at the base of what you are, which is atoms, yes? Does everyone agree that's the basis of what we are? At the basis of what you are a probability cloud that has been observed by consciousness into reality. When you change the observation, you change the coding, which changes the DNA, which changes the proteins created, which changes the way a human being shows up. Do you know there's people with dissociative identity disorder, used to be known as multiple personality disorder, and they have to take separate eyeglasses with them because if they shift identities, another identity can't see. Have you heard that there's studies showing that there is one identity that a person has when they shift to one of their other identities, they no longer have diabetes or freckles change? Have you guys heard these things? Go and research it. It's wild. Through the act of observation, you turn up and express. Look at those people typing in, yes, it's true, I've heard of this. Can everyone type it in if you've experienced that? A lot of you are typing in. They have different allergies. They have different, all sorts of, even they can have different accents and all sorts. So here's why this is important. You did this. You did this. You were once a creative energy source, and through becoming an individual, you created a limited perspective so you could have a human experience. So you could have a human experience. If you tried to live your life from here, you cannot experience anything. You had to become limited to have one viewpoint. Okay, think about it. If I didn't realize that this is where I finish, if I didn't finish, and then this is where this glass started, if I wasn't limited, I couldn't hold the glass because I would be everything. I had to create a limited perspective, and I called it, and I got told that it was called Chris Duncan. Makes sense? I had to have that happen. If that didn't happen, how could I have a human experience? See, many people think, well, the ego is the enemy or there's something wrong with it. You can't experience human existence without this. True? So you had to create limitation. However, this fall from grace or this separation was very painful when something was used to being everything, because you suddenly realized that, you know, you didn't always have your mother's love or your dad's attention. You didn't realize. And so you orient to this world through this limitation. But as you became limited, you realize that there was things you must do that are good. Okay. You realize there are things you must do that are good, things that will equal bad. If you be quiet, you're good. If you're loud, you get hit by dad, bad. If you're beautiful, good. If you eat too much food, bad. You see, you got into this wrong. If you do well in school, good, bad. So you oriented to the world through this idea of good and bad. And this became your worldview. The problem is it's only a small part of you. It's only a small part of you. This is why I say you're not broken. You're not broken. Everyone's just simply been orienting and creating out of just this part of them. And then maybe trying to fix this part of them. They're not coming up here and learning to create from their superconscious, their true self, their one focal point in the unified field of everything. They're just not living the truth. So you create your life from this and it creates oscillation because you push the pendulum one way and it swings back. You push it back the other way, it swings back. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to do this. We're going to help you to live the core 4 choices, help you to connect to your superconscious and make the shift. We help to recode any resistance to the core 4. And let me explain the core 4 right now. These are 4 choices, 4 creations, and we use the word choice because when you say, I choose this, you're acknowledging that you're powerful. Here are the 4 choices. The first choice is I choose to live a life I love. I choose to live a life I love. Feels so good just to say it. I choose it. The second is I choose to live my true nature and purpose. My true nature and purpose. The third is I choose to be healthy and vital. And the fourth is I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. The predominant creative force in my life. And I'll explain these more tomorrow, and we'll be making the shift to living those now. Because when you live those now, that is when you reclaim your power. When you shift into those, this is when you first start to reclaim your power. And this is part of making the shift into living those core 4. Okay, so this is the big shift. You must live those 4 and you must have no resistance to living those 4. We then use our superconscious to choose what we would love. You're only ready to choose what you love, become superconscious and live your truth when you already realize you are it. The only way to realize that you are it is to have no resistance to what you have in life right now. To what you have in life. Well, no resistance to anything. You should be able to turn up to success and failure exactly the same. Exactly the same. So let me just check in with everyone. We've been here about an hour together. We've covered a lot. I guess many of you might want to go over some of this because we're not going slow. How is it going? You are so powerful. You are so powerful. You're a creative spirit that's manifested human form. The most important thing in your life is to learn how to live from the superconscious. It takes me about 12 months to have a person learn how to do this. How to learn how to collapse the wave function into what it is they want. But when they do, they let go of blindness or trauma, and they learn to be powerful. In our work, we don't spend time trying to understand where limitation has come from. We're not worried about where it is. We don't need to spend 10 years in therapy talking about it. We do something different. The first thing that we do is we choose end results that we love. That we love. We choose results that we love. So the question I'll be asking you on Wednesday, oh, actually on Thursday in my time, Wednesday in the States, and on day 3 anyway, is we want you to know what is it that you love, to find your heart, to be able to bring your heart into the world. So the first thing that we do is we choose what you would love to create, to experience, to be, to have, with no judgment. With no judgment. The second thing we do is we step into the emotion of the end result and we experience it. By experiencing the emotion of it, you change the balance point of what it is that you want. You change the balance point. Okay. Step number 3 is we create structural tension. Okay. So, energy will always flow along the path of least resistance. Okay? So, if water is at a top of a hill, and it will flow down the hill with gravity, right? It will always flow along the path of least resistance. If I create tension between these two ends here, both ends want to meet in the middle because tension always wants to resolve itself. You see that? It doesn't just stay out here. There's tension in the rubber band. It wants to resolve itself. You can send electricity across miles and miles and miles because there is less resistance in the wire than there is for it to jump out of the wire. So the electricity just flows down. And now if you put a human being onto that wire, there's even less resistance in you. So it will go into you. So energy always follows the path of least resistance. Does that make sense? It always follows. So if you've got water going down a hill, okay, and you know it's going to go down, it's only going to go down in line with the riverbanks. If you put a boulder in the way, the water goes around the boulder because it's least resistance, or over the boulder. You see, it doesn't try to dig its way through it. Energy always flows in the path of least resistance. So what are you? You're energy. You're a creative energy. You're going to flow in the path of least resistance. This makes sense. Therefore, anything you want in life, as long as it's the least resistance path, you will flow to it with ease. You will flow to it with ease. So to create, we first choose what we love. We grab one point of the creation. The second thing we do is we create structural tension by acknowledging where we are now. Then we are going to do step 4. But we must create this tension. There's many words out there, law of attraction or magnetism. But I believe tension is one of the most underappreciated natural laws in the world. Energy will flow along the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is created through tension. My arm, if I increase the tension here, will move it this way. You see? A structure will move along the path of least resistance. So anyone that tells you just go into the air, just feel it and it will show up, doesn't understand the natural law of structural tension. So step 3 in our work is we go into the now. We say, this is the end result I would love, and then this is where I am now. This is the shooting comet, and I'm the tail of the comet about to be there. Okay, very important. I'll talk more about that this week. Step number 4 is we recode resistance. Resistance is the opposing force that your identity has created to an end result that it thinks is dangerous. Resistance is the opposing force your identity or self-conscious has created to oppose an end result it thinks is dangerous. Does that make sense? That's what it does. Why would it do that? Why would it put resistance? You say, I want to make money. Why am I scared? That doesn't make sense. Why am I scared of money? I said I wanted it. I don't know. Why would I? Here's why. Because the natural law of path of least resistance says, if I want to stop something going somewhere, I just put a boulder in the way. I don't have to do anything. I'll just put a boulder in the way and it won't be able to flow. And who's felt stuck in their life? Like, oh, why can't I get there? Why can't I get there? It's because your unconscious goes, yeah, I know what to do. It's like walking a dog. It just has a leash, you know? There's just a lead there. So you get to move a little bit and then the lead, can't go any further. True? So what we must do to recode resistance is first set up the structure. This is what I would love to create. I'd love a healthy body or a relationship. Feel it, which encourages the unconscious to acknowledge what we're going for, acknowledge where we are now, and then go, well, let's go. And then as soon as you go, you will push up all of that identity resistance that is in the way. Does that make sense? And so recode, I forgot a C in there, didn't I? Recode. that looks like reode. Lucky I've got my magic whiteboard. Recode. That looks a bit better. Recode resistance. We shift the coding. And you're a set of instructions. You're a coding. You're a coding. Reode, you can reode it if you want. You could banana pancakes it if you want. The word doesn't matter. You recode the instructions. You shift the coding. Okay, you shift the coding, and this is when you shift what's bringing it back down into here. And the last step is action. Life is an action sport. Life is an action sport. You get to experience it. Life is an action sport. And for anyone that tells you, well, just surrender or just this, I mean, it's just not true. So when I think about life and the meaning of life and, what is life about? Okay, obviously we have Abraham Maslow, and he talks about self-actualization, or we have Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, or the pursuit of happiness, which is a fundamental belief for the United States. Pursuit of happiness, which I love. So it's about happiness, or maybe it's Carl Jung or Joseph Campbell talking about the hero's journey. When I look at it, I ask myself, well, what are humans fascinated by? What are humans fascinated by? And if you ask yourself, what are humans fascinated by? Here's what you won't find. Humans are not fascinated by just everything just turning up and just getting everything that you want without needing to just getting it all. Just acknowledge that if we gave humans everything, if we said, here's all the money you could ever want, here's everything, and it's paradise, here's everything, and we just got given it, how quickly do you think humans will be bored? How quick do you think humans will be bored? Go, well, okay, I've got everything. Well, what do I do now? Who agrees with this? So, how quick will they be bored? As quick as it's already happened, because this is exactly what we got given. We got given everything. We got given paradise. It's all here. And we got bored. When we watch movies, do we watch movies where there's a woman and a man, they love each other, and then they just tell each other that they love each other, and they do, and then they have kids and have a great life? Is that the movie that we watch? When we watch an action movie, does the action movie go, oh, hey, look, I don't really like how you've done this. We can all agree that this isn't right. So, you know, here's the money, away we go. When we watch sports, do we love to watch like the NBA championship team play like a 12-year-old team and just absolutely destroy you know, under 14-year-olds? Do we? No, we don't. We don't love that. What do we love? We love going on an adventure. We love overcoming obstacles, and we love creating. Who agrees life is an adventure? Life is an adventure to create what you love. Who agrees with that? Give me a yes if you do. Why would I say that? Because we're fascinated by going on an adventure that is difficult and seeing it through. True? We don't watch romantic movies. We're not obsessed. What are we obsessed about? We're obsessed about people going on an adventure, overcoming obstacles, and creating a life they love. Is it true or is it true? Hey? Right? So give me a hand up or a yes if you agree. Isn't it just logical? So yes, you can surrender and try to have everything turn up, but here's the key. When tension is created, what is the natural resolution? Both meet in the middle. It's not that you just wait for the thing to come to you. That's not the natural resolution. When you create structure, both things move. Both things move. You must take action. You must take action. You must. So these are the 5 steps of the magnetic mind method and of superconscious creation. This is what we're going to go through this week. This is what we're going to go through this week. You are going to be learning the art of superconscious creation, how to connect to what you are, let go of what is stopping you, take aligned action, and create magic. And create total magic. Because that's what we're here to do. You see, what I realized is that something was missing. Why were people all not where they wanted to be? I realized that success is not personal, it is structural, and energy always takes the path of least resistance. I had to realize that everything I have in my life, I created. Until you can acknowledge that you are the creator of your life, you're not able to change it. Now, bad stuff could have happened to you. You didn't create it. When I tell people you created it, I do not mean every granular thing that's happened in your life was your creation. And that is because we live in a co-created universe. See, if I was creating everything, how does that work? It doesn't make sense. We live in a co-creation. See, what looks like creation to one can look like destruction to another. Take, for example, the lioness who needs to feed her baby cubs, tracks down a zebra and rips that zebra to shreds, takes home the meal and feeds the family. What a hero that lioness is to the lions, but what an absolute murderer she is to the zebras. The zebras and the lions have a different perspective in the same moment. We must all understand we live in a co-created universe. You create everything that you are responsible for. So you can have a bad thing happen to you, terrible. In fact, I work with people who have had absolutely horrendous things happen to them, and it's not okay. However, what's worse is 20 years later, the person's still living out that pain. You do not create everything, but you created where you are in life right now. You did not create everything, but you created right where you are right now. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? When you acknowledge that you had the power to let go or hold on, then you become powerful. If you put the power outside of you, you're in trouble. You are not powerful. You are not being powerful. Bad stuff could have happened to you, hey? And I'm sorry about it. Right now, you must understand you created this. For me, I met a billionaire. And he said to me, Chris, I really love what it is that you're proposing we invest in. And he looks at me and he goes, Chris, I'm not going to invest in you. And it's not because of your idea. I think your business is great. He said, Chris, I'm not going to invest in you because you are too busy trying to fix yourself and you think that you are broken. He says, Chris, I'm not investing in this business because you're obsessed with personal development and how you're not able to have what you want the way you are. He said, I started out with nothing. If I had wasted my time trying to be someone I'm not, I never would have got here. He looked at me and he goes, Chris, you cannot plant seeds of scarcity and grow an abundance forest. You must be it to see it. And he said, you need a coach. Information is great. Insight is better, but implementation, the best investment you ever make is to have someone who is paid to help you live your highest creative potential. I realized everything I was doing was wrong and was reinforcing that I was not it, that I was not super conscious, and that I was out of emotional alignment with what I really wanted. I realized all that stops me is structural, and I had to recreate how I orient to the world. And I was stuck in a sabotage pattern with my desire. My identity would have to die if I was to succeed in creating that reality. We've got a lot to cover this week, but I want to ask you all one big thing. Can I be your coach? Can I be your guide to learning to live super conscious? I'm not trying to say I've got more life experience than you. I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than you. I'm not going to say I've got more degrees than you. All I'm going to ask is, can I be your guide this week to show you what I know? And can you take what you like and leave the rest? Can you just be a willing and open student to acknowledge this? And it's true. You've probably been on the planet longer than me. It's true. You've probably had way more experiences than me. And I know one thing, and that's all I want to show you how to do, is how powerful you are and how you can connect to your superconscious and how you can create change. So if you can type in yes and acknowledge that you're willing and able to give me permission, we're going to have an absolutely wonderful week. In fact, tomorrow we're going to do a recode, then we're going to step into intuition, then we're going to do the double bubble. It is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing week. So can I ask, have we had a good first day? Do we feel like we've covered some ground and there's been some big takeaways? If you're all in for the week, this is just the basics. I told you today was foundational learning. What I'd love you to do is go to the Facebook group or go to my email me in or Facebook me. Let me know, what are your top 3 highlights for today? This is the challenge of day 1. What are the 3 things that will make the biggest difference in your life from today? What do you love? You're powerful. This is just an opportunity to take some things that I love and to be able to turn it into what's true for you. You are so, so, so powerful. And I'm going to take you on this journey this week and over a year. If we end up working for a year, I'm going to take you on this journey. You are going to learn how you can yourself become the superconscious creator of your reality, how you can be one of those success stories, regaining eyesight, leaving behind old programs, letting it all go and stepping into your power. So I truly, truly, truly look forward to that. So I'd love for you, I will read every single one you post in the group. Tag me, email us back in. I'm thrilled to know how this work is touching you and what's exciting. Tomorrow we'll go same time, same place if you can make it live. If you need to do the replay, that's okay. Tomorrow we are going to be doing a full closed eyes recode experience. We're going to aim for about 2 hours, okay? We're going to try to be under 2 hours every single day so that you guys can be good with your time. But have we had a good day one? Have we had a good day one? I love you all so much. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your good energy. Thanks for all your amazing comments. Top 3 things. Post your top 3 things in the group, and I'll be thrilled to read how this work is touching your life. So from me to you, I love you so much. Stay focused, stay magnetic. Let's have a great, 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 great week. Top 3 things that you learned today that are going to make the biggest impact. Top 3 that you love. Either email or post them in the group. See you tomorrow. Have an amazing rest of your day or evening or sleep, and stay magnetic. Bye.